Hi, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Megan.
Welcome to the Grimdark Diaries.
We're your geek gal pals obsessed with true crime and all things dark and disturbing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my wedding anniversary that I'm spending with Megan.
Happy wedding anniversary today.
Happy anniversary to my husband that I left alone upstairs eating McDonald's by himself.
Right? And you know he's not listening to this episode.
Oh, certainly not.
We're trying to get the recordings done as quickly as possible so that you can go back to hanging out with your husband while he eats McDonald's.
Yeah, real romantic. Well, we were gonna, for our anniversary, we always go to one of our favorite places to eat, which is Piatto Pizza, and they do authentic Italian pizza.
Ooh.
But we couldn't do that tonight because we're recording a podcast. So our next free night was 2 weeks from now. So
I didn't realize.
Anniversary.
I was literally looking at Facebook today and I saw that your husband posted about your anniversary today, and I was like, oh no.
I know. Well, I was saying to Megan, I didn't forget my anniversary because I know my anniversary is on the 13th because that's my favorite number. And I know we record on Wednesdays, but I did not put two and two together that the 13th landed on a Wednesday until I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, it's my anniversary. And then I'm like, oh, wait, it's podcast day.
I was like, had we thought about it any time before now, we could have recorded any other day this week, like
fine.
Previously.
He's a very hey, we work from home. We spend every darn day together.
That's true.
We're fine.
Well, if you're going to have to spend it with anybody, at least it's with our, friends in the dark and me.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, really. I'm celebrating with a bunch of people that are listening to me. Oh, you know what somebody said to me? I was, and shout out to her because she listens to the podcast. Her name is Christina. Hello, Christina. Her and I were at a bachelorette on Saturday and she was talking about the podcast. And then, how did she say it? That listening to podcasts is the closest we'll ever get to being ghosts, like alive ghosts, because you're yelling at the podcast to be like, it's pronounced blah, blah, blah,
right.
Or his name is Schmeagol. You know what I mean? It's like being a ghost. You're yelling at these people the correct answer or what they need to know.
It's true.
Which a lot of people got at us, by the way, Megan. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people got at us for not knowing singing telegram. Because I literally said the words, it's like a telegram, but it's singing. I don't know what it's called. And the amount of people that have contacted me and said, it's called a singing telegram. And you were driving me crazy that you didn't put the words in the right order.
Okay, this is what happens though when you're doing a podcast. You get the words mixed up in your head and you can't think of it. It's like trying to think of something on the spot under pressure and then trying so hard, but it's on the tip of your tongue and you know it's there. You just cannot
you don't have time
get
to Google it. You just got to go with it.
That's right.
That's what happens when you record yourself. I was out for
and
a
then
walk
we
with
make
my
fun of
husband
ourselves for it.
Well, that's the thing, right? When you flub your words in real life, it's whatever. But when you do a podcast is recorded. When I was walking with my husband today on our lunch break, I went to say the phrase stinky pits, but it came out pinky slits. And we laughed about it for a really long time. And then we decided that if I was a drag queen, my name would be Pinky Slits.
I love the direction that took.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a key into, that's a little look into our relationship. And
some slip-ups are usually amazing.
Yeah.
They turn into amazing things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
We might buy rollerblades for our anniversary. We're thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Rollerblades or skates?
I don't know. I'm torn. He would get rollerblades.
Right.
Like inline blades. As a child, I really enjoyed rollerblades. I had rollerblades, but I did also have roller skates for a while because I did a musical theater number at my dance school where I can't even remember what musical it was from, but I was a supposed to be like a 50s drive-in waitress.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we found vintage roller skates at Value Village, and I had those and like a little 50s diner outfit.
Yeah.
And I had a tray with food that I had to glue to it because I had to dance while on roller skates and have this food tray in my hand.
Yeah.
And I remember being more stressed out on those than on my inline skates. So I don't know.
I can picture you in roller skates more than rollerblades.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they would suit you better. Maybe.
They'd go with my aesthetic.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's important to me.
Yeah.
In my old age, that's important to me.
I will never get on anything that rolls
didn't you chip your tooth
again.
on rollerblades?
I fell on my face when I was, how old was I? 15? I think I was 15 years old, and I was rollerblading, and I went down a hill thinking I was good enough for it, and I was not.
Rookie
and
mistake.
There was a hill or a turn at the very bottom, or I would have gone right into a river. So I got to the bottom, and I made the turn, and then I lost my balance. And I fell on my face. Apparently, my hands didn't do anything. They just went behind me or in front of me. I don't know.
Saved your wrist. You could have had a broken wrist.
Right? I think I had wrist rests on, or the wrist pads, though. Wrist, whatever you call them. The wrist savers. I don't know.
Is there wrist pads?
Yeah, they're like, they go around your thumb and they kind of like keep your wrists straight. It's like a brace kind of thing. Anyway.
See, as a 90s, early 2000 had rollerblades child, I had no helmets or pads whatsoever.
Oh, well, but also my dad was a police officer and he made sure I had everything I needed to be safe. So when I landed on my face, I actually broke out my two front teeth. One of them completely, one of them half. So one is half real, one is all fake. That was when I was in Alberta, so I actually had to go. My sister had to take me to like emergency dental surgery, and they had to fix it for me. I was 15 years old. I didn't know what was going on.
I bet that was expensive.
They also, I think my parents sent my sister money because I don't think she was paying for that. And they also said that I had like pressure on my brain from it. And they
Were
didn't
you
know.
wearing a helmet?
Yeah, I was. But I landed on my face. I didn't land on my head.
Did you break your nose?
My face. No, I did not. I had a scrape on my nose, but I didn't break it, thankfully.
That's impressive. So you really must have kind of went chin, mouth first.
Yes, I landed on my face, like on my mouth. And my mouth skidded across the ground.
Oh my God.
Do you need a visual? Because I can paint a visual.
Oh, no, I can feel it. I can feel it in my teeth.
And then I had to rollerblade to the hospital.
You rollerbladed into the hospital?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And you know, my tooth has been a pain in the butt ever since. And now, like, they used to put these metal pikes in to hold your crown. And apparently that's fractured. So now I have to have, like, another dental surgery, which is going to cost me an arm and a leg. But anyway, that's a story for another day.
Jeez.
So we're going to use that as our segue to talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Ooh.
Which was
my
Megan
category. Was in the wrong place in the wrong the wrong form of forward motion.
Travel, transportation, any word.
Transportation, that's the word I was looking for.
It was supposed to be a fun day of travel, like a fun day of rollerblading. Mostly everywhere there is flat, except that one area. Anyway, so I kind of searched around, and I'm going to tell you right now, most of the stories about wrong place, wrong time is about shooting victims, and I didn't really want to go there. I just don't like that. Yeah, it wasn't good. And I mean, all of those stories are super tragic and super sad, but they were all the same. And anybody who's going to be shot, regardless of who it is in the wrong place at the wrong time. And we know that. So I wanted to go for a story that had a little bit more of a, not a twist, but a little bit more girth to it, I guess.
Ooh, a girthy story.
A girthy story, indeed.
Megan's bringing the girth today.
Please. Why did I use that word? I regret everything.
When everyone asks me how my wedding anniversary is, I'm going to say, Megan sure did bring the girth.
Oh my God. Oh, that's not going to give off the wrong impression or anything. Oh, that's great. That'll be, anybody will know who actually listens to the podcast when they hear it. When they actually understand what you mean by that. So I found this case. It was written by, her name is Nikki Young, and she actually is also a true crime.
Good name.
Right? That's what I said.
Great name.
She's also a true crime podcaster. Her podcast is called Serial Napper, which I love. It's like not the best, because ours is the best, but second best.
Close second.
It is definitely a close second. I love it. Like, I am also a serial napper. Super amazing. Anyway, I wanted to give her credit for the story because it was really, really, really well done. Very thorough. I loved it. So yeah, I'm going to tell you the story. So I think we all probably have known somebody in our lives who wanted to go over to Japan and teach English as a second language. Have you ever known anybody who wanted to do that?
Not Japan, but I know people that went to Thailand and did it.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So like same sort of thing anyway.
Yeah.
Just going over there, teach English. It was literally, when I went to university, there were posters everywhere about.
Yeah, I've seen advertisements for it.
Right. They were very, very strongly advertising that they wanted like students to go over to somewhere overseas and teach English as a second language, which I was always like, I'd actually really like to do that, but I also would like to do this, and then I'd also like to do that.
I can barely have English as my first language, let alone teach somebody it as a second.
Fair. Absolutely. With you on that one. So today's story is about one such woman who did the same thing. Her name is Lindsay Hawker. She was born on December 30th in 1984 to Bill and Julia Hawker. They were from Brandon in...
Wait, isn't that the year you were born?
83, I was born.
Oh, that's
so
close.
She's 1 year younger. She was actually born the same month and year as my stepsister, which is kind of cool.
Oh, right, because you haven't turned your age for this year.
No, I have not turned my age for this year.
Right. There we go.
You are correct. That will be in
I have
September.
already turned my age this year.
That's right. Yes. Mine won't be until September. It was always the demise of the grade that I was in. I was always the youngest person because I didn't
I was going to say, did you start school young or were you older than everybody?
No, I was younger than everybody. I actually graduated high school when I was 17 years old, and I didn't turn 18 until after I had already started my first year of university.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was pretty wild. So Lindsay and her family were from Brandon in Warwickshire, England. Lindsay was the middle child. She had a older sister whose name was Lisa, and she was older by 3 years. And she had a younger sister whose name was Louise, and she was younger by 2 years. So we have Lindsay, Lisa, and Louise. I feel like they enjoyed those L names. Very cute. Lindsay was super smart. She went to a senior high school called King Henry VIII that apparently, I looked it up, and it looks like, I don't know, it looks like Xavier's School for the Gifted.
Oh my God.
I know.
We gonna go into an X-Men story here?
It looks, no, I wish we were.
Yeah, I'm in love with Elizabeth Olsen, so I would like that.
Absolutely. We will do that next time. So this school apparently cost £12,000 per year to attend, which I think is absolutely crazy. Can't imagine spending that kind of money. Anyway, she graduated from the University of Leeds with a first-class honors degree in 2006. After she graduated, when she was just 22 years old, she decided to go to Japan to teach English as a second language to the students over there. In October of 2006, she went through I think it's pronounced Koiwa Tokyo branch of a company called Nova, it's basically a gateway company to teaching English in Japan. And at the time, it was one of the largest. She did what any of us do in a brand new country: go sightseeing, touring the countrysides, experiencing the culture in a way that only being there could offer. She moved in with 2 other teachers that were also there teaching English from other countries. They were both females. Lindsay she took up riding her bike over there. It was easier to get around the city. If she needed to go anywhere further, she would bike to a subway station and then she would take the subway. That's how she got to work every day. So she rode her bike over to the nearest subway station and then took the subway into the area where her work was. And she kept in constant contact with her family and her boyfriend. She had a boyfriend named Ryan. They were together for 4 years at this point. And it was a daily conversation. I mean, think about social media now. It was kind of the same thing. It was just starting up back then. There was still Skype and tools like that you could use. And she was constantly in contact daily with her family. Ryan was planning to come and visit her in Tokyo. And they were kind of planning that around March. He was going to come later on in the summer, I believe. One day on March 20th in 2007, this was before Ryan came out to visit, Lindsay was on the subway coming home from work when she was approached by a man, and he introduced himself as Tatsuya Ichihashi. Tatsuya asked Lindsay if she was one of his English teachers. She didn't know. His name didn't sound familiar to her at all, and he was kind of giving her like a weird vibe that made her uncomfortable. So she tried to walk away from the conversation, kind of further down the subway, on the subway. When she got to her station, she got off and quickly grabbed her bike, and she was trying to get on it when Tatsuya came up, and he was chatting with her, and he kept chatting with her about different things, I guess, about, what she did, and him trying to learn English. I'm so sorry.
So are we. So
Apparently are we. We're also trying to learn English. English. Okay. Anyway. So she was trying to act casual, but also get away from the situation, like how many of us, especially women, I hate to say it, have had this similar situation. How do you approach it? Do you approach it with harshness and just like yell at them and tell them to go away? Or do you like try to be kind and understanding and trying to be nice, Sometimes kindness doesn't really pay off though. She did also feel a little bit sorry for him, as she felt that he might have been a bit confused or potentially had some sort of mental illness, and he might have just been looking for a connection or something. So she didn't know. She knew that she didn't really want to upset him, but she also didn't want to entertain him either. So she just tried to continue on her way, trying to get home, riding her bike. She also wasn't sure if it was a cultural thing that people in Japan just did sometimes. This place was brand new to her, so she had no idea what to expect, right? So everything was just super new. Tatsuya continued to follow her all the way to her home, and he kept chatting with her the entire time while she rode her bike. And when she got there, he asked her if he could have a glass of water. So Lindsay made sure that both of her roommates were home before she allowed him in her house. But ultimately, she would invite him in to get a glass of water.
That's a bad idea right there. Do not invite strangers into your home. Never invite strangers into your home.
Agree. I am totally with you on that one. I definitely wouldn't have done that. I mean, you don't know what she was feeling at the time, so maybe she felt like this was the safest option. I don't know, but...
Oh my goodness. Even now, even if somebody is delivering something to me, because we have security cameras everywhere, right. Yeah. So don't come at my house. Yeah. I see everything. We will even if it's whatever my husband will order, what's that thing? Uber Eats. Mm-hmm. We watch the security camera to wait for the person to get in their car and leave the neighborhood before we go on our step to
this
retrieve
might also
whatever
be
it is.
Due to your feralness that you were talking about.
I mean, that also as well. Which is funny because I'm feral, but at the same time, I'm extremely social and I love talking to people.
Yeah, you absolutely are.
But it has to be kind of on my terms.
Right. And people too.
Yeah.
I feel there's definitely a difference between people and people you don't know. So Lindsay made sure, obviously, both her roommates were there, and she invited him in for the glass of water. She introduced her roommates to him as well, and The exchange was friendly enough. They got along well. While Tetsuya was drinking the water, he sat down and grabbed a piece of paper and pencil that was laying there, apparently, and just started to draw. He drew a picture of Lindsay, and he signed it with his name, email address, and phone number, which is weird, I think.
Okay.
That's a little odd. Before he left for the evening, he asked Lindsay if she wouldn't mind giving him some private English lessons to really kind of push his learning forward. He was really trying to learn English, and he wanted to expedite that, I guess. And he told her he'd pay for her services. She, of course, agreed to do this for him, and they agreed to meet at a cafe 4 days later to start their lessons. She thought this is a public area, and she was more comfortable in that setting, so didn't have a problem with it. After he left, Lindsay got on the phone with her boyfriend, Ryan, and she told him everything that had just happened. She was pretty shaken up by everything, so she just wanted to talk it out with him. He was a little bit worried, obviously. She reassured him that she was fine, that she'd be fine because next time they were going to be meeting in a public place, and just kind of chalked it up, I guess, to strange behavior that they might not be used to back home. So 4 days later, Lindsay headed to the eastern side of Tokyo to meet Tetsuya at the cafe that they had agreed to meet at. She felt pretty at ease, and, there were a lot of people around, so she felt more comfortable there. And Tetsuya was there as well, and they sat down together and just started his English lesson. Everything went great, and Lindsay was feeling much more comfortable about this whole situation and how it came about. At the end, when they were finishing up, Lindsay asked Tetsuya for the payment for the lesson. He realized at that moment that he had actually forgotten the money at home, and he'd have to run home to get it. He said he would pay for them to take a cab to his place, which was pretty close, so he could just run up and grab the money and bring it down to her. She agreed.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am, you do not get in that car. You don't
ever go to a second location with somebody. I feel like that's like the rule of thumb that every person should know about. Don't ever go to another.
What does that mean? What does that saying mean?
Don't go to a second location?
No, rule of thumb.
Oh, rule. I don't have like my idiom dictionary up right now.
No, in these last 2 years, I'm really questioning all of these phrases that we say.
I know you are.
I don't know what any of them mean, and I need to know. This is part of my becoming feral. I'm like, are these even sentences we should be saying?
I love that you're actually second guessing everything, because if it's not legit or if it's something that means something bad, like we should probably know. I don't know. It's just always been a thing. You look that up.
You continue talking and I'm going to Google rule of thumb.
Okay, sounds good. So she did agree and got in the cab to go to his place with him. They both went to his apartment so he could grab the money for her. She also decided to go up to his apartment with him. So Lindsay told the cab driver to wait for her because she was coming right back down.
Why didn't she say, I will wait in this cab with this cab driver. You go get the money and you bring me the money, sir?
I wish I knew what happened, because it literally says that he told her he would pay for them to take a cab to his place so he could just run up, grab the money, and bring it back down to her. But then when they got there, they both went up to his apartment. So I don't know if she just like felt bad, or maybe he like talked her into it, or coerced. Oh my gosh. Coerced her somehow.
Coerced?
Like
coerced?
I don't know what's wrong with my words today. Yeah, I don't know if he coerced her or what, but...
Okay, I have an update.
Okay.
Maybe we shouldn't use that phrase anymore.
Oh, really? What does it mean?
Okay, well, I went to Wikipedia, and it says, in English, the phrase rule of thumb refers to an approximate method for doing something based on practical experience rather than theory. This usage of the phrase can be traced back to the 17th century and has been associated with various trades where quantities were measured by a comparison to the width or length of a thumb instead of an actual comparison. However,
I was like, that's not so bad.
No, but then it goes on to say in modern folk etymology holds that the phrase is derived from the maximum width of a stick allowed for wife beating under English common law.
What?
And then it goes on to say the phrase rule of thumb first became associated with domestic abuse in the 1970s, after which the spurious legal definition was cited as factual in a number of law journals, and the United States Commission of Civil Rights published a report on domestic abuse titled Under the Rule of Thumb in 1982.
No.
Yeah, it says some efforts were made to discourage the phrase, which was seen as taboo owing to the false origin. During the 1990s, several authors correctly identified the etymology. However, the connection to domestic abuse was cited in some legal sources, even in the early 2000s. So in theory, the origins are fine, but then somewhere along the way, somebody was like, oh no, it means this. So then it got a bad rap.
Okay, well, I will try my hardest not to use that anymore, because I feel like I say it in such a subconscious way. It's just like
I've heard lots of people say it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try
to this. We're learning so much about idioms and phrases.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Yes. We'll bring you an idiom a day in our episodes.
Yeah, I'm still not down to clown with that one about your nose and your face. I still don't like that one.
Nose in your face? Which one?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't remember. This is also the bad part about this, is when we do talk about it, I'll probably forget.
Is it you cut your nose to spite your face or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that one. Anyway, moving on.
Okay,
so she went upstairs.
Yes.
And
so
she should not have.
Correct. Yes, she did go upstairs. She should not have gone upstairs. She told the cab driver to wait for her because she was coming right back down, that she would not be staying. He waited 7 minutes and then he left. He decided that was enough time to wait for Lindsay to come back downstairs, and she did not come back down, so he decided to just leave. Great. The following day, Lindsay's employer made note that she did not show up for work.
No.
But she just chalked it up to it being a sick day. Maybe they'd chat with her about it next time they saw her. Maybe she forgot to call
Did the roommates know where she was? Did the roommates know she was teaching, and therefore they should have been aware that she should have come home?
It didn't.
And where else would she be? Her boyfriend doesn't live there.
Yeah, it didn't say anything about that, so I'm not sure they were that close. Maybe, I'm not sure. It didn't say anything about her roommates. Oh, well, I'll get to that, but nothing right now about this. The next day, so this is 2 days later, Lindsay still didn't come to work. So her employer contacted her family back home in England, and they hadn't been speaking with her. They had no idea where she might be. And this was extremely not like her. She would normally, like I said, be in constant contact with her family, either through Skype or email, even on the phone. So they were all like daily in contact with her. And because it had been 2 days and she hadn't reached out for a couple days, they knew they had something to worry about. So the Japanese police marked Lindsay Hawker as a missing person on March 26th, 2007. Lindsay's father, Bill, and her boyfriend, Ryan, they got together and they started to make plans to fly to Tokyo so that they could be a part of the investigation, so they could be there and actually try to find her. I can't imagine as a parent being in a different country, especially with a language barrier like that, trying to find your missing daughter. Like that would just be so heartbreaking. The police started their investigation and immediately interviewed Lindsay's roommates, of course. They made sure to tell the police at that time about the encounter with Tetsuya Ichihashi and how creeped out Lindsay was by that. I don't know why they wouldn't have reported her missing, or maybe they did, but it just wasn't in the story. I'm not really sure, right? So we don't know.
I guess if you're not close friends with your roommate, then you would just assume oh, they're at work. Oh, they got up before me. Oh, they got in after I went to bed. If it's not somebody you talk to every day, then...
Right. And I feel like as human beings in general, we automatically justify. So if somebody's going to be there, or they're like late coming home or something like that, you might worry, but you're like, you know what? They're probably just doing this. I got to stop worrying. I always go to the worst case scenario. You always think about it, but you don't ever believe it. And then usually you're right. Usually it's not the worst case scenario and you were just overreacting or whatever. But in this particular case, maybe that was what was happening. They were like, don't know where she is, but, you know, I'm sure she's fine. Could have been that. I don't know. So they did tell the police about Tetsuya and how creeped out Lindsay was by that whole encounter, him coming into the house, etc., etc. In Lindsay's room, the police discovered that picture of her that Tetsuya had drawn that had his information on it and how to get in touch with him. Sounds easy, but they did find his apartment. They went through the phone company and they were able to find his address through them from the phone number. So 2 Japanese officers went over to Tetsuya's apartment right away. And this was around 5:40 p.m. to see what they could see. Sadly, they didn't have a permit. So I guess in Japan, they weren't even allowed to knock on the door without cause.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but they were allowed in the complex, like the actual apartment complex. So they went up and they waited outside of his door. Because I'm assuming they could just talk to him if he came out. Before they had gone inside the complex, though, they made note that they could actually see someone inside the apartment. So they knew he was, or someone was there. So they called for backup. But they stayed on site because they wanted to be there in case he came out. While they waited, 7 more officers showed up. So this is 9 officers at this point. And they waited downstairs. A couple of hours later, Tetsuya finally came outside. He was barefoot for some reason. He was wearing a backpack, though, and immediately when he saw the police, he made a break for it. Obviously.
He's on 9 police and he thinks he's going to get away.
Well, he only sees the 2 that are upstairs, that are right outside his door. He doesn't see everybody downstairs.
What a fool he was.
He obviously knew why they were there, because otherwise why would he run?
Right.
One officer was able to grab his backpack and haul him back. However, he was extremely squirrely, so he was able to get out of their grasp and escaped. They were able to grab that backpack. So in the backpack, they found some clothing and a lot of money. Significant enough that the police actually believed that he was going to try to run. Tetsuya was headed downstairs out of the apartment complex and took off running. The police outside, I'm not sure. Like, I couldn't really find anything else about this, but in the story, Nikki mentions that there may not have been radios at the time, or maybe the radios weren't working or something to the effect, but the officers upstairs couldn't radio downstairs to let them know that he was coming. So when he came out, he basically barreled down the stairs, jumped the last little bit of it, and got a head start and just bolted out, and they weren't expecting it, so they didn't catch him. The police chase at this point was on. All police in the area were notified of his description and where he might be headed. They found him a few times, like throughout the city while they were chasing him. Eventually he was found wearing athletic shoes. I don't know where he would have got those, but the streets of Tokyo are like a maze, and there are so many twists and turns and hidden spots that he could escape to that they just couldn't nab him. The police who stayed behind at Tetsuya's apartment went inside with the proper permit finally. They found all they needed to pin the disappearance on Lindsay Hawker on him. Her disappearance, unfortunately, was now a homicide. They found Lindsay Hawker's body on the balcony of his apartment. She was naked and buried in a tub that had been filled with a mixture of soil, sand, and compost. He had moved the tub from his bathroom onto the balcony.
Okay, I was about to say, is he the only balcony in this damn building? Why does nobody see this?
No, he moved it onto the balcony, but even still, like 2 days having your tub on the balcony, I feel like somebody, I don't know, unless it was like a super treed area or something and they were all hidden from each other, I don't know. They later discovered that this mixture of the soil and the compost had been sprayed with some sort of substance that was used to compact and decompose waste.
So he was preparing for this.
Yeah, well, it would be found out later that he would be getting this stuff after she had passed.
Oh.
So, trigger warning for rape. Lindsay Hawker had been bound with zip ties and gagged with scarves. She was found with one hand lying outside of the tub mixture. She had been brutally raped and then murdered. Forensics would later reveal that Lindsay suffered for a long time. It wasn't a quick and painless death. It was very long and very painful. Police said that there were large bruises on the left side of her face that looks like where he must have punched her. Other less severe marks on her upper body looked to be like they were a result of being thrown into the furniture around the room. Her final breaths were taken when Tetsuya began strangling her and broke the cartilage in her neck. After she was murdered, he shaved her head. She had beautiful brunette hair. He shaved her head and also threw her possessions across the room. The police were not 100% sure, but it appeared that Tetsuya was going to try to either bury her body later or wait for the decomposition to happen. That's what it looked like he was waiting for. It would be discovered that Tetsuya went to the hardware store 6 times over the last 2 days to get all of the materials he needed for this mixture and the spray.
Oh my God. Did they check his Google search history?
I don't know. I suspect they may have. When police interviewed the neighbors, they said that they did hear something striking metal, and around that same time, they heard something being dragged, which could be the tub. It was obvious to the police that he had moved the tub to the balcony to try to delay the smell of the decomposition for as long as possible. The following day, March 27th, Lindsay's father and Ryan would arrive in Tokyo and made arrangements to have Lindsay's body sent back to the UK. And Tetsuya was still at large.
Oh my goodness, I forgot they didn't catch him yet.
They didn't catch him yet, no. 2 days later, on the 29th, another lead came up for police who thought he may have been staying at a hotel. It was called Hotel Shadow, which is considered to be a love hotel. I'm not really sure what that means, but I think I can assume. If they took his backpack
with all his money, how did he get money to pay for things?
We'll find out a little bit later, but he had family money. He wasn't hurting for money.
But how did he get it?
Well, I'm assuming he had a wallet on him, maybe. I don't.
But if he used, they should be tracking his damn cards. Backpack. If he's using his cards,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have that information.
Tokyo Police Department, let me in.
We might not have all the information either. They may have done that. It just wasn't in this story. So this hotel where he had, where there was a lead for where he might be staying, about 20 police officers raided the hotel but came up with nothing. The wanted posters were going up all over the city with a picture of Tetsuya. They also included a picture of him, like, enhanced a bit with him dressed as a woman because in their discovery, they found that he had been trying to disguise his appearance to hide from the police. Lindsay's parents had pleaded with the Japanese media to help them find their daughter's killer. The police agency in Japan even raised 1 million yen as a reward for finding Tetsuya. That was about 9,000 Canadian dollars or 7,000 US. Despite all of their efforts, the case was growing colder by the day. They did find out some more information about Tetsuya, though, while they were doing this investigation. He was born on January 5th, 1979 in Chiba, which is, I guess, east of Tokyo. This made him 28 years old at the time of Lindsay's murder. His dad was a doctor. His mom was a dentist. Money definitely was not an issue with his family. Tetsuya graduated from Chiba University in 2005, where he had taken horticulture. After he graduated, he didn't work, but instead lived off of a monthly allowance from his parents, which was roughly around, it's 104,412 yen a month, which is 986 Canadian a month. or $760 a month. I don't know how much it costs to live in Japan, but I'm going to guess it's pretty cheap. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe it was back in 2007. He didn't have a past record or anything, like no other convictions. He was allegedly, he had been, I believe, arrested for allegedly assaulting a woman when he tried to rob her, but that was settled outside of the court, so he wasn't actually convicted for that.
Let me guess, mommy and daddy's money paid for that to be settled outside of the court.
Yeah, I suspect that was the case too when I was reading this. Surprisingly, Tetsuya was in a committed relationship with a Japanese woman for about a year at the very least when Lindsay was murdered. The night before Lindsay was murdered, Tetsuya and his girlfriend had had a big argument. Other facts about him: he was a huge fitness nut. He loved going to the gym. He also loved biking and biked probably about 25 kilometers a day. 2 years and 1 month later, on June 26, 2009, the police agency in Japan had raised the reward from $1 million to 10 million yen. So that was about 94,000 Canadian or 72,000 US. That was in hopes, obviously, that it would help their case, that somebody would come forward. It took about 5 months later, but they would catch the break that they needed. Someone spotted and reported seeing Tetsuya. The reason he had evaded the police for so long, they found out, was because he was getting plastic surgery in Nagoya, which is a city that's just southwest of Tokyo. It turns out that on October 24th in 2007, he had increased the height of his nose, he added a fold to his eyelids, he had 2 moles removed, and he thinned out both of his lips. We'll post pictures of this transformation because it's actually crazy to see the difference in what he looks like. Absolutely. I don't think other than like very minute details in his lips, like his lips are very prominent at the top. Other than that, I don't think I would have recognized him. He looks completely different. It was insane how different he looked. So we'll post on the Instagram the transformation pictures of that if you want to see those. But on November 10th, 2009, that would finally change. He was captured while trying to board a ferry to Okinawa in Osaka, Japan. He swore up and down that he was not the person responsible, but he was arrested anyway and charged with rape, murder, and abandoning a body. Finally, on December 23rd, 2009, Tetsuya admitted to killing Lindsay Hawker. He said he didn't mean to kill her and that he had attempted to resuscitate her, but was unsuccessful.
That doesn't make up for literally anything. No. And I also don't believe that.
No.
And if you were trying to resuscitate her, it's so that you could abuse her more.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very clear he was a narcissist. He was just trying to get himself out of trouble, obviously. Because this man couldn't get any worse, he makes things worse by writing a book about his experience of being on the run for 2 years and how he did most of the plastic surgery himself.
How?
He offered to give proceeds to Lindsay's family. However, they declined. I would have too. That's completely disgusting.
I would have told him to take that book and shove it so far up his ass that he is still able to read it with his eyeballs.
Yes, 100% yes. Yes, like how disgusting. I agree. The family said it would be completely disgusting for him to write this story about his experiences on the run after killing their daughter. Like, how horrible of a narcissist human being are you?
So at this point,
something like that
with this book, has he been charged?
He was charged, yes, but we'll get to the sentencing in a minute.
Okay, because that must be a different rule in Japan, because over here you cannot you can't get proceeds from something. I can't even think of the proper sentence. You can't get proceeds from something resulting from your crimes. Like, you can't make a movie or a book about your crimes and make money. You can't take a profit from it.
That's good. That's a good rule to have.
And you know what? I know that's absolutely in the US. I actually don't know if that's in Canada, but it's 100% in the US.
Okay. I don't know if he did or would have gotten proceeds from that while he's in jail. But I know that I'm just assuming that if he had chosen or was able to give the proceeds to the family, then they would have been able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he wasn't getting them, so they could go to the family. But now that they're not going to the family, I don't know. I don't think that he would be able to get them, but I don't know if he'd have the option to give them to anybody else either.
Do you see a ghost? What's happening?
No, I keep hearing things, and that's my window.
Did you hear a ghost?
Of course. Could be a ghost. I don't know.
Is it whispering?
It's no. I have headphones on. If I hear any of that, it's in my head.
Oh, God.
That's a whole different issue. We're not going there tonight. So just to continue with the book, we're going to jump to 2013 because a movie was actually made based off of the book with the same name. The name is I Am Ichihashi, Journal of a Murderer. It got 5.2 out of 10 on the IMDb scale, which I think is pretty crappy. I feel like nobody should watch it if you ever see it in the stores. Like
when you're in Blockbuster, do not rent it. Do not. Skip right over it. You don't need to flip that bad boy over and read that description. I don't care how appealing the picture is on the front of that box because I know that factors in when you're in that Blockbuster of what movie you're going to pick. You just slide right by that.
I don't know what year I think I'm in right now. I'm literally like 2007. Yeah, okay, we have a Blockbuster still at that time. So. Yeah, if you ever see that movie anywhere and you're thinking about watching it because it sounds interesting, don't do it. I'm just advising. The production company is called Cedic International. They were quoted as saying that the film, quote, did not praise Ichihashi or justify his wrongdoings. The film's producer, Toshiaki Nakazawa, said, quote, we have not the least intention to insult the victim as well as her family. Thus, we did carefully produce the film not to dishonor them. The focus of the film is on the internal
is to make
struggle.
Money.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. They said the focus of the film is on the internal struggle of the criminal who committed such a horrible crime.
He doesn't have no internal struggle. He's a piece of shit is what he is.
100% he is. I know, honestly. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. They said it describes the process of how his fear and sense of guilt pushed him into a corner psychologically and the result that he cannot get away with it in the end. End quote.
Oh my God.
I know, it's like literally.
Why don't they stroke his shaft a little more in that?
Right? They literally start this by saying they're not praising him or justifying his wrongdoings, but ending by literally praising and justifying his wrongdoings. Like,
I hope every time they eat, they choke a little bit on their food. And they do that thing where you drink water and it goes down the wrong pipe.
I hate when that happens.
And then you can't stop coughing and you try and speak and it just makes you cough more.
Yep.
And you feel like the blood vessels are going to burst in your eyes and you're like gasping for air. The people that made that movie, I hope that happens every time that they consume liquid.
On one hand, I can't stop laughing because thinking about that, I don't know why that's really funny to me.
And it's one of those things that like I would never wish harm on somebody, but I would wish that on somebody.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's totally fair.
Or when you just choke on your own spit and you like almost die for a minute.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
I actually just liked a picture today. It's just a meme that says me when my saliva goes down the wrong hole or something like that, and it's literally a picture of a goldfish with its like mouth wide open and it looks like it's choking. I'm like, oh my God, it's so true. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, there you go. Anyway, all the pieces of shit can go to the past now. So moving along, Lindsay's family were outraged because they did not give their consent for this film to be made, and someone on their behalf said, quote, the family were not consulted and would not have given consent for this film to be made and want to remind people that Ichihashi is a convicted rapist and murderer. The family consider this to be distasteful and an insult to Lindsay's memory. End quote. Mic drop. Damn straight. Another trigger warning for the story of what happened, including rape and murder of Lindsay Hawker. Tetsuya admitted in court that he suffocated Lindsay when she started screaming while he was raping her to keep her quiet. He said he didn't mean to kill her, of course, but he was responsible for her death. It would be on July 21st, 2011, the Chiba District Court sentenced Tetsuya to life imprisonment for the murder of Lindsay Hawker. Lindsay's family wanted him to be sentenced to death, but the court said that because he had no previous convictions and was only 32 years old, that he may have a chance to be rehabilitated. So they sentenced him to life in prison. In Japan, it is law that anyone with a life sentence must serve a minimum of 10 years before being eligible for parole.
That's not very many years.
No.
That does not say life to me.
I was so shocked to see that. 10 years? Are you kidding me? I think it's 25 in Canada.
It is.
Yeah. So to end this story, because we don't have any new updates, it's been more than 10 years, but I don't think he's eligible for parole right now. He is eligible, but I don't think he's gone through the process. So I really enjoyed this quote from Nikki Young, so I'm just going to quote straight from her site. She said, quote, "So here it goes. Here is my permission. To you as a woman, do not worry about offending anyone. Follow that female intuition that you have. It's there as a safety feature, and it could save your life. It's a fight or flight response that you absolutely must acknowledge during those times that you feel it. Please, please, please take care of yourself and each other." End quote.
Snap, that was great.
Yeah, I loved that quote.
It sounds like a great Nikki.
I know, honestly. I'm like, I would like you to come on the podcast, Nikki, because
oh my God, it could be a
wonderful.
Nikki sandwich.
Yes, I would love a Nikki sandwich.
Oh God.
I know. I'm just like, this is getting worse, actually. Bringing the Girth your wedding anniversary and ending off with a Nikki sandwich. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, that was the story of Lindsay Hawker and the horrible, horrible tragedy that she went through.
Did he ever say why he chose her? Like what?
No.
Other than obviously wrong place, wrong time. But was there something special about her that he was like, this is the person I am going to kidnap?
No, I don't. It didn't actually say that. It didn't go into any detail about that I saw in my research. Yeah. But
I mean, he could just be a psycho that just...
It could have just... You know what? It sounds like he had his... I don't know. He sounds kind of like one of those narcissistic, entitled jackasses that had everything handed to them on a silver platter. When things didn't go right with his girlfriend and they had a fight, something in him might have snapped and he just needed to feel in control again. And people who have that tendency and that switch in their brain, where especially if they're narcissists, they just don't care. They don't give a shit. They just want to do what they want to do. They want to be in control. They want to do whatever they want. And yeah, this just ended up being like a super horrible situation that ended in tragedy. So it was like a really sad story that, I don't have any more words about it because it is what it is.
Well, let me improve the mood by serenading you. No, by rolling my dice.
Thought the ukulele was coming out.
Mm-hmm. Megan and I played Dungeons and Dragons this past weekend.
Yeah, we did.
Our D&D group.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I really love our D&D group.
Accidentally set half the group on fire with a
fireball. Yeah, you did. I was included. I detonated
far too close to everybody, not realizing my area of effect would be so large.
Yeah, you pretty strong, mage.
It was literally, I think, the first spell I cast in our session. Because I was like coming out strong.
You took me down more health than the actual enemy did.
I am a pretty powerful
you are.
level 7 mage.
You are. And you're wonderful. And your character is great. I'm a little upset that I am no longer your BFF. So that part.
That's what happens. Megan missed a session. So my character found a new best friend.
I am protesting. Next time we have a chance.
Yeah.
I'm going to take
Don't
your
worry.
friendship bracelet and throw it on the ground.
This person is the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
That's right.
I don't think they're going to remain with our party
also,
long term.
An NPC. So.
Yeah, it's an NPC.
Like, wow, way to replace me with an inanimate object.
Right? Well, it's great because I can really push my story forward with the NPC
That's
because
true.
I'm making up what happens as it goes.
That's so true, yeah. Where I probably limit you. Like, no, I'm not letting you walk into this fiery abyss.
Yeah, he never
yourself.
stops me when I'm about to do something I'm not supposed to.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's so funny.
Okay, I am rolling.
Okay.
I got an 11. I feel like we roll 11 a lot for categories.
I think we do too. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I've had to replace 11 a few times on this story theme list.
Yeah. Although the way an 11 is on a 20-sided die, when it's sitting 11 face up the right ways towards me, the 13 is facing me, which is today's date, my lucky number, and my wedding anniversary.
That's right.
So the only thing that could have made that better is if that dice just turned one more little boop and landed on 13.
Well, you saw it, and that's what matters.
Yep. Well, that's the way my light is. The part of the die that's lit up is the 13. Because it's like a shimmery die.
Yeah.
So it's like glistening in the light, 13, and all the rest of the die is dark. I wonder if I could take a picture of that. It's very amusing. Okay, so my category is, you know what really grinds my gears.
Nice. Oh, are you asking me? Yes, I do know what grinds your gears.
Megan knows many things that grind my gears.
It's true.
That's why we're such good friends.
Yeah. I love this category. This is, I don't know. That quote always reminds me of Family Guy.
Family Guy?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Where do you think I got it from?
I love it.
And it's going to be great because whatever this is going to grind my gears. So it's going to get me real heated.
Ooh, which means I'm going to be off the charts.
Yep.
Maybe next time I can actually have a drink.
Yep. Well, this was lovely. We learned valuable lessons. Mm-hmm. We laughed. We felt sadness. Just a real roller coaster day. Way to spend my wedding anniversary.
No better way, I guess. I mean,
better way.
Definitely probably a better way, but anyway.
Yep. Yeah. I got my husband a card. Sorry, I'll do the outro in a minute. Just give me a minute. I got my husband a card for our anniversary. And we always say, I don't know why, one of us will say the like jokey phrase, "You're one in a melon." You know, it's on like shirts and cards and stuff. And there's like a picture of a watermelon or something.
Yes.
And then I don't know why we used to say that to each other like it's a joke. And then it escalated to "You're one in a minion." Because we've seen that on like Minions, you know, like the little yellow minions.
Yeah.
And then we would just make up new ones. Like we would keep going back and forth for like a really long time. And they wouldn't make any sense. I mean, those two don't really make that much sense. But we would just keep escalating them back and forth. So then I was in Winners the other day and I saw a card that had little slices of watermelons all over it. And it said, "You're one in a melon." And it was blank on the inside.
I love it.
This morning, I had bought it this morning because it was blank on the inside. I was like, "To husband, happy anniversary." And I put, "And you're one in a minion." And I tried to draw a minion and I cannot draw. I definitely cannot draw.
Oh my gosh, I need to see the picture.
Yeah, I gave it to him and he's like, "It looks like a peanut."
Mr.
And
Peanut.
he's a freakishly good artist.
Yes, he is. That's hilarious. It was nice that
anyway.
you tried, though. That's really cute.
Yeah, I tried.
I thought you were going to say that you like wrote all over the inside, like, "You are one in a melon. You are one in a minion. You are one." Like just kept going with it the whole way through.
That would have taken more work than my minion.
Fair. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for spending my wedding anniversary with me, Megan, and everybody else. This was a great day. If you would like to see those pictures that Megan was talking about, and maybe possibly my minion draw. Jury's still out on that. Maybe
I will eliminate
me to
one
take a picture of it.
Yes.
You can find us on the social meds. Check us out on the meds. Just search Grimdark Diaries. Grimdark is all one word. You will find us. We are there. You will love it. Follow us, please. If you would like to contact us, you can in fact do that. It is quite easy. All you do is you go to your email provider and you open new email and you type said email, and then you put a very catchy subject on it, and then I'll get very happy when I see it. And then in the to section, you type in the Grimdark Diaries at gmail.com, and then you press the send button, and like magic, it will arrive to us.
But put something in the body of the message too.
I said that. I said you type a message.
I don't know why.
And then you put the catchy subject. Once you type, I like to type my message first, so then I know the content that I'm delivering, and then I consider what my subject could be.
Oh.
That is a nice summary, not too aggressive.
That's weird.
Not too formal, not too informal.
Okay. I let my subject dictate what I'm going to put in the body.
Oh, so we go in reverse.
Yeah,
interesting.
I guess so.
Everyone email us and let us know what you do. Maybe I'll put a poll on the Instagram.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Let your subject dictate your email dictate your subject. Wow, This is wild.
It is wild. I didn't know this was a thing that we need to now know the answer to.
Interesting. I thought everybody did it the other way. Well, we learned something new. Mm-hmm. If you really liked this discussion of whether your subject dictates your email, you could leave us a comment on your Apple podcast and give us a 5-star rating. And you can give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and follow us on your applications on your phone. Technology. If you'd like to know how to do that, you message Megan and you ask her.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I surely don't know.
I
but
work
she
in
will
IT.
help you.
I can help you.
Yeah. And make sure you tune in next week, and will be so lucky to find out what grinds my gears, what one thing out of the many that I'm going to pick that grinds my gears. And remember, a friend in the dark beats alone in the light.